Palumbo here with Muscle Serpents Daily. Guys, sorry I was missing for the last couple of days. Idiocy week here at Palumbo's Pythons and Boas, and of course Species Nutrition. So it is what it is. I'm going to show you a bunch of cool stuff today. We're just going to kind of go through cages. A lot of people have been asking me about Burmese pythons. Obviously I had that clutch about a month or two ago, and now they're starting to grow up. People want to buy them now. They've eaten 4 times, so they're going to be ready to go. A couple people have already paid me some deposits on berms. I'll tell whatever, if you want to know anything about them, you can hit me up and I'll tell you what I got available to sell. But I'm going to show you guys, a lot of people want to know how to set these things up. They've never had berms before. What size caging, how do you start them out, when you switch them to bigger cages, what's the time frames. So I'm going to show you how I have mine set up. It's not that difficult, to be honest with you. It's kind of more intuitive, but you have to have the space, okay? And you have to be willing to go to bigger cages as they get bigger, because you don't, I mean, a snake could obviously survive in a smaller cage, but this is a big snake. So even though if you don't overfeed them, and they will stay smaller if you don't, my females are not big, my breeding females, but I still like to give them the ability to move around the cage, because when they stagnate and they sit in one spot because there's no space, that's when they get respiratory infections and their health goes down the tube. So knock on wood, you know, all the berms here have been great. I've never had a respiratory tract infection in a berm, and I have in ball pythons. So thank God, but I think it has a lot to do with that. I'm not keeping them too big, and I'm letting them move around and exercise. And I take them out too, you know, once a week to move around. I think that's the key. Anyway, let's see what we got. I'm going to show you a couple pickup I got today from Adam Chesla, and I'm also going to show you a couple of cool snakes that are holdbacks, and hopefully tease you guys a little bit. So over the next couple of days, we're going to have a lot of hatching going on these next couple of weeks. I'm just telling you, a ton of them. And then I know a lot of people want to see the boa litters that I just had, the 3 boa litters. They're in the process of shedding out, so they don't look so great. But in a couple more days, probably by next week, we're gonna showcase those and actually take a look at what we got. I haven't even sexed them, to be honest with you. I wait till they shed the first time usually. All right, let's go in and see what's going on. All right, another clutch, another, first of all, amazing class of 2018 spectacular females, never to be duplicated again. How they did it, I don't know. Yes, this is another 2018 female, less than 2 years, about 2 years old now. Had a nice big clutch of eggs. Her and I would say, I think it was 3 of her sisters, or 2 of her sisters, had their first clutches at under 2 years old. First time in the history of Palumbo's Pythons and Boas that happened, and it couldn't have happened to a better clutch too, because these girls were all het rainbow girls that I had bred. It was a really good clutch of sisters that just all grew and ate really well. This is a HYPO butter Enchi. It's het for rainbow. She's gorgeous. And obviously that rainbow is that albino-ish recessive trait that I've not produced a visual of yet, but we have a lot of good chances this year. Obviously we're still breeding head to head, so there's only gonna be 25% chance, so hopefully we'll hit it with one of these clutches. This was actually bred to a HYPO Enchi, my HYPO Enchi Hurricane. He's my stud muffin here, who's also head for rainbow. So once again, another chance to produce. We're certainly going to produce, everything's going to be HYPO here. So we have another chance at a Hurricane HYPO, which I love. And we could hit that rainbow. We could throw some butter in there. We could hit an Enchi or super Enchi in there. So a lot of really, really nice possibilities. Now, the last clutch that I showed you, the female was also Hurricane. And so we had that ability to produce possibly a super Hurricane. So we're not gonna have that with this clutch, but we had that extra butter gene added in here. So super cool, super psyched. Let's take a peek and see these eggs. I haven't looked at them yet. Oh, that's a nice little clutch of eggs too for a little girl. She's not so little, but she's not huge for by any means. This was a good one. Let's pull it. All right, here she is. Good mama. Empty, nice and hollowed out there. That's what we look for. And we'll wash her up now. Give her a little bath. Get some of that egg smell off her. And put her in a nice clean tub. And she gets some sleep. All right, pull them. 6 nice eggs. I see veins and arteries in these things, and embryos, so hopefully they're gonna go to term. They look healthy. They're not the biggest eggs. They're certainly not the smallest eggs I've seen. They seem to be pretty nice size for the size of the mama. And we're gonna have to wait now. 25% chance of getting that rainbow, happening. 50% chance of hopefully having a hurricane in this litter. Once again, everything's gonna be hypo, so I'm looking forward to this. 60 days from now, man, this could be a really epic one. Now, like I said, we have some really good ones this year from a lot of young females, and all these young females, ironically enough, were all head for rainbow. So they could all produce possibly rainbows, or none of them. You never know. Let's hope the gods are blessing us. All right, yesterday was feeding day, so I'm just gonna show you a couple holdbacks for now from 2019. This is a Super Orange Dream, Orange Dream Super Enchi Red Stripe Fire, I believe. It could be Super Orange Dream too, I'm not sure. Gorgeous female. I mean, I had to hold her back. Look at that color. Look at how orange she is. And she's over a year old and she's still got great color. Look at this female as well. I think this is Enchi Orange Dream Fire, Pinstripe Red Stripe. There's that pinstriping you can see. You can see on the tail, the red striping. Definitely Orange Dream in this, definitely Enchi in this. And I think there's fire in there as well. I don't think it's super Enchi, although the head pinching would indicate that it could be super Enchi. We won't know until we breed these girls out. So I'm gonna keep these girls back because they're so good, and we'll just see how they breed out. From the same litter, in the same clutch, we have this beautiful male. He is Super Enchi, Super Orange Dream Fire, I believe. Just exquisite. I mean, this is awesome, this guy. He is sold, but I just wanted to show you how clean his pattern is. There's little arrowheads on the back there. I have a litter from 2020 that's rivals this, and that's head pied, so this is just a little showcase of how good these Orange Dream animals get as they get older. They don't lose their color, they don't get worse, they get better, as Ozzy always said. So, just a little sneak peek. All right, a few people asked me how I set up my Burmese pythons as they're growing up. So last year's 2019 clutch, I have in V70s now. At least the males I do. And as you can see, they're getting pretty big, and they're pushing the boundary. I gotta clean some poops out. They're pushing the boundaries of this. He will be moving into probably a 4-foot cage or sliding drawer tub pretty soon. This is about as long as I keep him in here. These are, once again, this is about exactly a year old. So they put pretty good size on these Burms, and I'm not feeding the males very heavily, but they grow. They grow, and you're gonna have to understand that within a year, they will outgrow a ball python tub, My females are actually already in 4 foots. So this is exactly 1 year old. This was born June 20th. So, I mean, we're literally at the 1 year mark here. All right, now this is a ARS rack with a V35 tub. It's like half the size of the adult ball python tubs. And this is where I actually put my babies in. Now, Burms, they could actually go into a hatchling rack, but they don't last that very long in there. But if you look, this little female, which will probably be a holdback of mine, and excuse the poopies, because we just cleaned yesterday and they already pooped again. So, because they just ate yesterday. This female, she's a HYPO albino, which is also known as a pearl, and she's granite, and she's green. So we hit every gene here with her. She's in this, she's got plenty of room in here. Okay, so she's gonna grow fine in here. She'll be more than capable of staying in here probably for several months. Probably, depending on how I feed her, probably longer. However, I am probably gonna move her into a V70 because I like to give the Burms more room, like you saw the other one, and we probably go into that probably within maybe 3 months. Here's a HYPO green granite female. It's 66% head albino and actually head albino. And you can see she's a little bigger than the other girl. But once again, plenty of room in here. But you know, they grow. I'm only feeding them little, you know, small mice now. But these snakes have only eaten like maybe 4 times since they've been born. So they're growing, you know, they're growing. And once again, if you're gonna get a berm from me, I know a lot of people reached out, make sure you have room. Once again, you probably can keep them in here for about 5 to 6 months. Then you're gonna go into a V70, which I'll show you in a minute, which I showed you before, I should say. And then after that, in about a year, you're looking at a cage, you know, or one of these, you know, freedom breeder slide out 4-footers, okay? Because they gotta have room to move around. Because you don't want your berms getting sick because they can't move and exercise. Now my 1-year-old berms, these are little, yeah, about 1 year, these are my albino head pieds. They're in 4-foot cages. Look how big she is. Because I fed her a little heavily. You know, the males don't eat as much. The females, I feed a little more because I want them to breed. And look how much she grew. She would never fit in a V70. So it depends on what you feed, number one. She just shed out too, really beautiful looking. And it also depends on how big you want your snakes to get. You know, what I do is once I get them up to the adult breeding size, I slow them down. So she needs a 4-foot cage. She's fine in this one right now, but I'm planning to move her actually to these 4-foot vision cages, which have more height on them, and there's just a little bit more movement for them in here. They have a lot more ability to move around. And then ultimately they're gonna go to the 6-foot cages, which is where I actually have my male, one of my males in this. This is actually too big for him. He doesn't need to be in there. My females are not big. I mean, this is a very big cage for her, but you know what? Knock on wood, since I've had her in a nice big cage, none of my berms get sick because I give them enough room to move around and I don't overfeed them. And you know what? 2 years in a row, she's laid 15 egg clutches for me. And that's enough for me. I don't need a 40 egg clutch. I don't know how many people can really handle a 40 egg clutch. That takes up a whole hatchling rack, you know? So I'm very happy. She's breeding size, she's breeding age. I feed her comfortably and she's able to produce. She eats, I would say, 6 months or maybe 7 months out of the year. The other 5 months she's not eating. When I breed her, I don't feed my berms when they're breeding. So I think that's a nice, healthy way for them to be. And once again, this cage might even be overkill, but eventually she's gonna grow into this cage. These smaller 6-footers are probably, from vision, are probably better choices. I just want to thank Adam Chesler. I picked up this really nice Inca, 100% Central American T positive. I should say 100% head Central American T positive male from him. I'm going to put him right into the breeding rotation this coming season. I always liked the Inca morph. I thought it's kind of interesting. I like the dark. I really love the tail of it. Really dark tail. And I think this would look really good in T positive. I don't want to do anything with this morph that's going to mess up the pattern. I think HYPO might be a mistake to put into Inca because it changes the pattern, disrupts it. So I'm going to stick with colors with this and try to get more colors and maybe more pattern into it rather than less pattern. I'm thinking maybe even onyx. That's something that's running through my head because onyx is a dark morph too. How about a T positive onyx Inca? Might be cool. We'll see. So thanks, Adam. I'm still waiting for this girl to deliver her litter. This is my Rousso Red Pastel HYPO head sterling. Look at how stretched out her skin is. She's been sitting on this hot spot. She's just waiting to erupt, basically. I can't even imagine how many babies she must have in her. She's my biggest boa, so hopefully they'll all be healthy and we'll have no slugs or anything like that, or infertile over, I should say. So she's uncomfortable. I'm gonna leave her alone, but we're just waiting. Her and her daughter actually might give me a litter as well, which which will be super exciting. All right, guys, that's it. That's going to be it for today. Tomorrow, hopefully, we'll have a clutch that is hatching in the incubator. I think it might be Monday that we have to take a look at that one, but I do have a lot of good stuff to show you. Everything just ate yesterday, so I didn't really want to start handling a lot of stuff. Tomorrow, I'll be able to start taking stuff out and showing you guys some of the cool stuff that's hatched and that is shedding and all that kind of cool stuff. But hopefully you guys learned a little bit about how to set your berms up. Once again, I'm not hardly an expert, but you know, I'm maybe a little more of an expert than you guys are who have never done it before, but a lot of it's intuitive. You have to really, you know, the more time I spend with my animals, the more I kind of see what they want and what they need. And when I see that they're healthy and happy and that they like to come out and be handled and they're moving around and they're not just putting on a lot of body fat, but they're getting longer and they're growing and developing, that's when I know that I have them set up right. And that's the key. You know, the key is to give them, you know, the ability to move around. Berms are big snakes, okay? When I say big, I mean, not that they're 20 feet long. They could get that long, obviously, if you feed them. They're big snakes in the sense that they're bulky. So they need the ability to move, and because their lungs are so confined in that thin body, they need to be able to move around so that the lung can bring air in and exchange air, and there's got to be more space. Especially if you're keeping your berms in a smaller area, you better make sure that those cages are cleaned every single day, because if they pee and they got to sit in that for 2-3 days because you guys are neglectful, that's going to affect their ability to breathe, and it will probably lead to respiratory tract infections, even worse if it's poop. So make sure you keep your berms clean, give them fresh water every single day. They drink a lot, these snakes. I don't know, especially, you know, when you're running air conditioning during the summer like I am, it gets dry in here, and they're drinking a lot. I'm constantly I spill the water bowls in the tubs because I use paper towels just to give them a little bit of moisture, not oversaturated, but moisture, just because it's so dry, you know. So you have to make these accommodations, and that only occurs when you observe your animals on a regular basis. All right, hopefully you guys are enjoying all these videos. If you are, hit that subscribe button, turn on your notifications, hit the like button. We'll see you back tomorrow morning.